here.
Full torso apparition, and it's real.
So what do we do?
Hey guys. Yep.
Look, as the comments section sees, we are indeed on time.
We are. We even had a cool intro for our topic tonight that was created by Brian. And yeah, it was actually pretty cool. That was the first time that we had seen some of that, and I'm here for it actually. Busting makes me feel good.
But as you guys saw, you know, it's our fun month, so we're gonna be going over a little bit of the paranormal and pop culture. Opinions are what opinions are. If you don't want our opinions, guess what?
You're on the wrong live.
100%. That goes for you too.
Thank you.
Also, we are going to be at the Central Kentucky Mystical Market this weekend. Come see the lot of us. We're all going to be there doing what it is that we do. It is going to be 11 to 5 both days. That's at 1165 Center Parkway here in Lexington, Kentucky. And looking forward to it as we always are. The last weekend of the month is going to be spent doing something very special. So the 26th, which is the last Sunday in July, we are going to be raising money for a very special family who is going through quite a bit right now. They are one of our Dead Files case families, and we told them that we would be there for them, and we're going to be there for them. And hopefully you guys will be out for it as well. So this is the Do the Thing-a-thon that you guys have actually been seeing the adverts for and everything else. There's a lot going into it. You know, we're putting everything that we've got into making this happen. It is going to be a charity kind of deal, but we're doing it sort of like the old school telethon sort of deals. So it's a drive kind of thing. There are going to be live tarot readings. There is going to be a live auction as well. So similar to what we did in December. So if you're interested in that, there's going to be some special skits that are done and a couple of quick but awesome things that our production people are putting together.
They busted their ass, guys.
y'all don't understand. There's a whole lot of work that the team has been putting in to make this something fun for those of you who are donating and for those of you that can't but want a good time.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be doing the thing-a-thon pretty much half the day on Sunday. So we're going to be getting started around midday, so around lunchtime, and we're going to go until we get tired, y'all get tired of us, or we've raised enough money to feel satisfied. So the first $500 immediately goes to the family. I will be matching the first $100 myself. So $600 will be going directly to the family. And after we raise a little bit more, we're going to send them more.
They don't know that yet.
They usually don't watch this live, so we can talk about them as if they were here.
They're in spirit, you know.
But no, they're aware that we're going to be trying to help them out. So looking forward to what it is that we're able to do. I'm getting some feelers out for some special guests, as well as making sure that we're lined up to give readings. If you guys would like to secure a spot as far as a live reading, we will have a schedule out for you at the beginning of next week.
Yep.
So that being said, if you would like to schedule a live read, so we're going to do multiple of those, sections throughout the day. There'll be hour blocks or so. And so if you would like a live reading and would like to secure a slot, we will have times out for you guys at the beginning of next week. And you guys can go ahead and prepay. Of course, that will be going towards the donations. Anything else currently?
Yes, Deb with Rocky Hounds. Come see them this weekend and us. Deb's amazing.
Yeah,
Said,
she's got like a class.
yeah, Deb is actually
Yeah,
doing a crystal seminar at the Central Kentucky Mystical Market this weekend. So you'll have to come out and watch, guys, because I mean,
It's
It's-
Deb.
but
Why wouldn't you?
why wouldn't you? And Deb said Rocky Hounds will have some items that will be given at a certain donation level and maybe something special. You know how us hounds are when it comes to giving back.
Deb and Teresa are 100% some of our favorite people. And the biggest reason why is that reason right there.
Mhm.
They always pay it forward and make sure that people always have what they need. So, come out, check them out. They're always doing something special at the mystical market, whether that is new merchandise or if it's giving away free stones or giving away free classes or just hanging out and being awesome.
We'll see what happens.
There's a lot of things that are going to be happening in the next week or so, and looking forward to it.
Including a couple of birthdays. Tyrese is tomorrow. Flames in the comments, guys.
Flames in the comments. He made it another year around the sun.
Whee! And then Mike's birthday, y'all know him as Hippie, will be on Saturday. Tomorrow. No, today's Thursday.
Today is Thursday.
Have tomorrow. He's Saturday.
See,
Do we know anybody who's on Sunday?
probably.
Probably. I'll have to look
Did anybody on July 19th let us know?
because I'm curious. It would be amazing to make the trifecta. Be kind of cool. Be kind of fun.
So it's another reason for you guys to come out and see everybody this weekend.
Birthdays.
Birthdays.
Also, Stephen's Healing Vibrations. $10 from every sound healing goes to a vet suicide prevention.
Yes. So
I am trying to raise money to help vets.
tis an awesome thing, guys. We got a lot of cool shit going on right now. And August will be cool as well. We'll have some different stuff that we'll go over once it gets a little bit closer. But our big thing this month, especially, is the Do the Thing-a-thon. So tune in if you can. We're really, really looking excited.
We're looking excited. But
It's been a long week.
today,
Today.
Missy says her sister Brooke is the 19th.
That's cool.
That is
Okay.
cool.
So there's our trifecta. That'll work.
makes sense.
So, for those of you that jumped on after Brian's amazing trailer for tonight, because I don't think we have any other announcements, do we?
Lord, I hope not.
I don't think so.
Not right off. I don't believe.
But next, we'll actually be talking about the topic tonight. Guess what? It's Fun Month, guys. Fuck yeah! Whee! And we are going over something that was actually also very highly requested. And that is the good side of paranormal
In
in pop culture.
pop culture, we're asked this
Often,
almost
at least once a year.
more than that. I mean, every podcast, every lecture we give,
True.
half the classes we do.
True.
What are your all's opinions of the paranormal and pop culture, TV shows, movies, the whole bit? And it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, calling it what it is, but there is some pretty cool stuff
Yeah.
that actually comes from the paranormal ends, things like social media, mass media. So, things like, syndicated TV shows, movies, that kind of thing.
What's your point? And I'll let Steve talk, and then because he's got a couple of the movies that he wants to cover. I have a couple of movies that are a bit newer that I would like to cover. So I'll let you.
And I'll just sit back here and look pretty, since I don't technically watch movies.
You can chime in though when we go over the ones that you know.
There is that.
I might not know
You'll know them, at least the older ones.
So did
them. Are you saying I'm ancient?
yes.
It's your birthday tomorrow.
I'm turning 21.
I thought it was 27.
No,
Oh.
21. I'm just now becoming legal.
So anyway, the first movie that Brian had in his trailer was The Sixth Sense.
So, The Sixth Sense, it became a meme really quick. And rightfully so. It was a very quotable line. And everybody makes the jokes, I see dead people. Well, no fucking shit. Like half the known world does too. That's what the meme is. But The Sixth Sense did an excellent job. If you haven't seen it yet, guess what? There's going to be spoilers. And if you're going to get offended over a movie that came out 20 something years ago, then I don't know what to do about you. But it is a small child that winds up helping more than one person actually cross over during that movie, one of them being Bruce Willis's character. Anybody offended yet? Cool.
Do you want me to be?
No.
Okay.
So
I just needed to mentally prepare.
you'd be surprised how many people are like, I've never seen it. You spoiled it. And I'm like,
It's 20.
I was going to say, I thought everybody had seen it.
No.
Because it is actually the one and only movie that nobody never talked about until like years later because nobody wanted to spoil it.
It was a really good twist.
it was a good twist. Essentially, Bruce Willis's character had died, and he died so suddenly that he didn't realize it. It was a traumatic death, and because of that, he couldn't cross. Um, so he goes to help, quote unquote, help um, a child that was having, some issues with fitting in, with having, issues with home life and different things like that. He was basically investigating, making sure that the kid was okay. He being a psychologist. And throughout the movie, the kid is coaching him, telling him how to go about it, telling him what's going on, what he sees, why he sees it, the whole bit. And Bruce begins to piece and part together the truth. And by the end of the movie, you see where the gunshot wound was in his gut and where it definitely left in his back. Um, and it's a very awesome example of what mediumship actually is supposed to be. Now, does it necessarily mean that, every single time you work with someone who's passed, that it's going to be a death situation like that it's going to be heinous? No, it definitely doesn't. And those situations are actually typically fewer and farther between. You may actually encounter someone that died tragically, but you're shown in different ways. It's not usually uh, them being shown in what a lot of mediums refer to as death state, which was actually the case in this movie. Willis's character didn't show the signs of the gunshot or the blood until the end of the movie. But the boy knew for a fact he was dead the entire time. That is the twist. Um, so it got the word out, and made it approachable for people that didn't quite understand. People like Sandra Brown. I, TV psychics are very difficult for me to 100% get behind just because it's easy to make money when you have a crowd. But people like Sandra Brown, people like John Edwards were really big then. And then you had the paranormal TV shows. Chip Coffey was getting big at that particular point in time. Um, and Ed and Lorraine Warren were still in the picture at that particular time, and everybody was wondering what a psychic medium was. Well, then they got to fucking find out. It was actually kind of cool. um, I, for one, am a fan of what the movie did the movie age well? Fuck no, it didn't. But did what it stand for actually age well? Yes, it did. I think that one was pretty cool.
Ready for the next one?
Sure.
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters was one of those kinds of movies where everybody had a little bit of fun with it. Whether you loved it or hated the movie, it doesn't really matter. There are quotable lines throughout the entire bit. Lord God.
I have a similar gift. I see douchebags, only they don't know they're baggy. And Take Tossed Out Stir of Echoes is better than Sixth Sense.
I agree. These are just the movies that were presented, but I
At
agree.
least in our trailer.
Yeah.
We will go over some shit that was not in the trailer because these are the ones we wanted to make sure to cover because they're one of the most popular ones and some of the stuff that's asked about the most frequently. And literally, because the three that Brian really covered in the main trailer that was the intro were the one we just went over, The Sixth Sense, Ghostbusters, which Steve will go over here in a second, and Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
Which he'll go over after that one. And then we're going to do some fun shit too.
Yeah. So as far as Ghostbusters, it was nonsensical. That's the point. It's supposed to be a comedy movie about the paranormal investigation field. The whole bit. It's supposed to be this whole gimmicky thing. What it actually wound up doing was getting a host of kids hooked on the idea that they too can become Ghostbusters, that they too can actually go out and investigate haunted locations and help people and do things. It actually is the inspiration for a lot of people who are now famous for doing that. Was literally the Ghostbuster series. Some of the people from your favorite paranormal wusses shows, especially the investigation shows, actually grew up watching Ghostbusters, and I want to do that when I get old, that kind of thing. And then some of them did, and some of them are the reason why we have next week's topic. But it's a wonderful thing because it shows the use, even though it's way over the top and not nearly what it is that it happens. It shows the use of tools to measure different kinds of frequencies, different shifts in temperature and atmospheric pressure, and different things. So there was an idea, even though it was 100% science fiction, there was an idea that science could be integrated into actually helping us understand that there was something else there. It's a really cool movie if you think about what it actually represented, and then it made it hilarious, so you didn't take it seriously.
It wasn't scary. It wasn't meant to be scary.
There was actually a point where there was a big, and this is a behind the scenes kind of thing for the movie. There was a point where there was an actual fight over that. Well, isn't this supposed to be a horror movie? Well, no. Well, it needs to be more serious. It needs to be more, you know, we're capturing ghosts, we're busting the monster. This is supposed to be a bigger thing, and it was actually a huge fight. Like it was a massive situation, and it wound up working out for the best. Ghostbusters, like I said, love it or hate it, is still one of the biggest classics in the ghost paranormal side of horror movies. So y'all's comments must be hilarious.
Jake, with your name being Jake, you shouldn't be throwing shade at Elwood. Just would crack me up.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
But Jake said, I think it's the only topic I can actually have a viewpoint on, LOL. And Dev said, and nobody realized how gigantic Dan's awkward family history is intertwined with the paranormal.
Yeah, 100%. Aykroyd is, well, was, I think. Is he still?
I think he's still kicking.
I think he is. But Aykroyd is or was. I can't tell if I'm Mandela affecting or not. I think he's still alive.
Yeah, he's 74.
Okay, so
he just turned 74.
So I didn't fuck myself. So
I was gonna say, wasn't he in the last? Didn't he make an appearance in the last Ghostbusters?
But that doesn't mean much.
Not anymore.
That is true.
But yeah, Aykroyd is huge into the paranormal. He is 100% serious about life in other dimensions, on other planets. Is big into apparition hunting, cryptids. Like he's massive into this stuff.
Yeah.
And he was one of the most integral parts, but also one of the most complicating parts of the Ghostbusters series because of that. And it was his influence that in the end wound up making it such a hilarious and good, showing. But you have an actor that is willing to put himself out there in that degree and still carries to this day, the things that he sees as valid research, as things that are, worth chasing after, worth discovering, worth searching for.
I think it's awesome.
It's great. It's amazing.
Maybe we should give him a call and see if he'll come here and be a special guest.
Hey, could you imagine? I highly doubt he would come to bumfucked Kentucky to do that, But who knows? I mean, he's 74. What else is he doing?
True. And
Somebody says he's selling vodka.
He is.
it's rough.
It's kind of harsh.
It's harsh.
So we need him here so we can at least taste test the vodka.
No, we don't. I've
Yeah.
taste tested it. No. But
It's a cool bottle.
it is a cool bottle. I'm going to shake things up and actually bring in a more recent movie real quick. So there has been a lot of talk about some of the newer paranormal movies, the newer horror movies. And I'm going to loop in Hokum, Weapons, and Obsession into that conversation.
Okay.
I will do my best to not spoil. But one thing that I can definitely say, especially for Weapons and for Hokum, is I freaking love to see when people did the damn research. If I get freaked out in a movie theater and I'm actively going, wow, I kind of want to leave. This is shit. It's a good fucking movie. And Weapons and Hokum absolutely fucking did that.
Oh yeah, they were a lot better than I thought they would be. because when you get people that actually take the time to go, oh, well, this is what some fly by night told me, or this is what Facebook says about this, or this is, what I saw from another movie or TV show. Let's just tweak it enough to say it's our own idea. When you've got people that are willing to actually go out and talk to natives of that area, they're willing to deep dive in and actually do the research into things that whether they understand it or not, they know that the people of that area do. It's fucking fantastic.
It's so fucking cool. That's how you keep the legends and shit alive. It's literally vocal and video folklore. And that's cool as fucking hell, because that was one of the interesting things about Weapons is, you get through the whole movie, and I'm gonna do my best not to spoil it because it's a relatively new movie. And you find that, a specific person is actually a practitioner. But they did their research, and that's part of the reason. And then it starts to click why the rest of the movie was so fucking terrifying, because it wasn't the fact that it was, a thriller. It was the fact that they did their research, and not that that's actually happened, but it could.
Similar to Holcomb. And honestly, the one that you brought up that I really didn't want to like that movie. I really didn't want to like it. Obsession.
Mm-hmm.
I really did not actually want to like that movie because of what it's actually about.
Same.
But it's actually a very good movie.
It was very well done.
And kudos to Jake
Mm-hmm.
for, jokes aside, he did have it correct. There is no hiding. This is not spoilers at all. This is literally what the movie premise is about.
It's in the trailer.
It is. It is about love spells. And it shows how interesting that can go. Of course, to a certain degree, there is some Hollywood and there's some humor.
There has to be.
But most of it was really uncomfortable, especially when you have helped people through that and you've been privy to that because you were that person at one point. Not the one that's casting, the one that had to get through it. It's an interesting and rough go. It was probably not intended to be as
direct, correct, and awful as it was.
But if you haven't seen it, it is a suggestion, just like the first two.
You gave me an anxiety attack.
Oh,
Same.
Same. Obsession actually made me uncomfortable enough to where I was going to actually get up. Like I couldn't sit still.
No.
And it's a different kind of scary, especially when you understand why it should be scary.
That's actually part of the reason why I wanted to bring it up, because a lot of the times, and we've gone on our rants and we've literally talked about this for entire month sections about how heinous and awful love spells are.
I mean, that was our entire February this year.
Entire February. But the reason that I brought this movie up on the good side of paranormal is because it's so fucking heinous.
You need to explain.
So it shows the nitty gritty, the dirty, the actual shit that happens with a love spell, or in this case, a wished upon love spell.
God, which is worse.
Which is worse.
That's so much worse.
And because of that, it takes away all of the cutesy, like, oh, well, blah, 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 the TikTok fucking bullshit about, and the Etsy witch shit about, oh my God, love spells aren't that bad. People that say that just don't love themselves enough, or blah 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 blah, whatever the fuck. Because there's a whole slew of bullshit about that. It shows the nitty gritty of what actually happens, not only to the person, but the people around them, the things that are noticed, the shit that comes out. Like it was very well done. And I really hope it wasn't because someone actually understood what they were doing and they did the research. Because that's part of the reason why it freaked me out as much as it did, is because it very much came across like that person that directed it and wrote the script for it had actually gone through something similar.
It's insane. It's absolutely nuts. And movies are starting to get closer to the truth because making fun of it is no longer getting anybody anywhere. And that's something that I do find really interesting is, you go through these sine wave kind of patterns where, movies and TV shows are really fucking hokey when it comes to this stuff. They get really stupid about it or cartoony about it, or intentionally make fun and chastise or satirize things that they really don't understand. And then you go through periods like this where every motherfucker making a movie or a show goes, the real thing's scarier. The real thing is actually more interesting. And they're right. It is. I really like the fact that, and especially with Obsession, it's awareness. There are morals in this, lessons that are actually taught in the movie um, about doing these things, literal no-nos, hand slaps.
Dead ass.
And I'm like, where were y'all? Like 10 years ago when we started this shit, and everybody's like, left spells aren't bad. And like, where the fuck were you guys then? I could have showed them your all's movie and them go, never mind.
Because I shit you not, the next person that walks up to me and says, oh, well, blah, 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 left spells aren't that. Go watch Obsession. Tell me that it's not. But running on this like awesome sine wave of movies that we've got currently, another really good one that is also by a smaller director, and this is one that I definitely think that you will enjoy discussing for a second. Backrooms.
So the Backrooms is an interesting thing, and by thing, it's becoming its own egregore, because the Backrooms started as a writing prompt, kind of like the SCPs. For those that don't know what the SCP Foundation is, it's literally a writing prompt. It's a open writing prompt for anybody that just wants to write a sci-fi or paranormal what's this into existence. That's all it is. It's just a big think tank kind of writing project, and it's open to the entire internet. And some of these have actually gone to become their own movie series or TV shows, different things like that.
Video games. It's also not one of Tyree's films, but that was hilarious.
Excuse me?
Isn't that one of Tyree's films? Talking about Backrooms.
Oh.
You want to talk about backrooms? I can tell you about some backrooms, but that's not our subject.
I mean, it could be its own kind of horror story. Just ask George Michael. Oh. And we can do that because we're mediums, because he's dead. Anyway, so.
Gotta have faith.
So Backrooms, egregores.
So would you be someone's father figure? Going straight to hell. So, but yeah, the SCP thing, it's this big deal where it's everything from things that are small and just creepy or just misunderstood to things that are world class planet breakers, things that are demigods or gods or eldritch horrors or, that kind of thing. And the back room started as an offshoot. If it didn't start as its own SCP, it did start as a writing prompt. It was just an idea. What if there was a copy of this world, but the copy was just a facsimile. It was just a facade. It tried to mimic this side and couldn't. And there's been a plethora of games. Like, I mean, there's been all kinds of games. And the way you get to the back rooms is you fall through reality. You literally just fall through or walk through reality, and it distorts just enough for you to get on the other side. So it's kind of like when people break through the veil, or um, do what we refer to as going out of phase. We're not on this plane, but we're on one that's similar. Um, and it also is creepy as fuck. It's liminal. It's a different kind of creepy. Um, but the idea that exists has actually started to become a little bit more theory, and that theory has become a little bit more reality, because even though they shut it down for about 3 years, CERN has proven that actually can be a thing. We now know that there are other dimensions other than ours. So the likelihood of a backroom situation is still small. It's very far, but it doesn't mean that it is impossible. And that's what makes that one kind of cool.
Yeah.
It is, being able to actually go, well, I wonder.
It's possible. And it's also a very good fucking reminder that you are literally the creator of your own reality.
Mm-hmm.
The things that you think, the things that you want to come to fruition, if you put enough time and energy into it, will literally actually happen. It may not be in the way you originally thought, which is one of the things that movie shows very fucking well. But it's a good movie. And it's a really good representation of not only different realities, but also what can potentially happen if you spend too much time other places and out of your body.
100%.
So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to come bring it up for the good side.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because those are some newer movies that people can look into. Hell, Obsession is still randomly playing in theaters, but it also just went out on DVD. I know because Jake sent me a picture of him buying the 4K video of it. But there's also some good shit that's happened from previous movies. So kind of some of the ones that Steve went over, but Paranormal Activity, looping back to that one, because especially the first one, the later one's not nearly as much, but that first one was fucking terrifying.
I didn't get into it.
It took forever to. So if you like, that was the one thing, but it really depicts oppression well. It depicts the stages really well.
Because that was literally the point of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't supposed to be, let's load the gun and fire it at the beginning. You took the entire movie to actually load the gun.
Mm-hmm.
The trigger wasn't pulled until the very last act. But it does. It shows the stages. So infestation, so where a spirit or demonic is beginning to move in or encroach on a space or a person. And then moving from there into, the oppression phase. And it's really good about it. Subtleties. That's what makes that movie good. A lot of people that are used to a lot of, intense horror action movies, or, high speed kind of lifestyles, different things like that, they're going to find it boring. I'm calling it what it is. They're going to find it boring. because it's not got a lot of pop to it until about halfway through the movie.
Hmm.
And even then, you don't see a really wicked turn until the last quarter of the movie. Um, but it's the small things, especially to people that work in the field that we do, in the way that we do. The whole time you're watching it and go, I know exactly what this is.
Hmm. Even not knowing what was going on, because that came out way before I was on the team and way before I started really diving into this. Nah, the second I watched that movie, I'm like, this is 100% possible. And I know that it's possible.
Now, to a degree, you know, is some of it, especially at the very end,
Wow.
is some of it kind of dramatized? Of course, it's Hollywood.
Has to be.
Has to be. There has to be a huge payoff, for that kind of weight. There's got to be a huge payoff. Um, but at the same time, it paid off in the way that everybody knew it would, and it still fucked everybody up. Because you saw it coming, you knew exactly what was going on, you knew exactly what was going to happen. It's literally telegraphed. It's choreographed. You see the moves as they are going, and it still fucks you up because it's like, oh, here we are with that. Um,
I was really hoping we weren't.
One of the best movies, talking about that kind of bit, as far as getting people in the know about proper exorcisms. Yes, The Exorcist brought out uh, a particular understanding that these things could happen, that exorcisms were real, that possessions were real, because yes, this, The Exorcist was an actual account. It was an actual story. Um, of the priests that actually did undertake that particular exorcism. Now, do exorcisms get to the point of what that movie turned into? No. That
Once again, Hollywood does take some of its own, licenses.
Now, can some of those things happen? Yes. Can some of those things happen to that degree? No. Um, and one of the best movies that I've found uh, that depicts exorcism and exorcists that are actually legitimate in what they do is The Rite.
RITE.
Yeah. The Rite is also, at this point, you could call it an older movie. Again, some people are going to say things, some people aren't. Everybody's got their opinion about movies. This particular one actually follows a legitimate exorcist, at least story. It is of a legitimate exorcist. It does actually show uh, depictions of uh, Vatican trained exorcists actually going through their training, legitimate. It actually shows one of the cases that I cite actually on a regular basis of a exorcism that has continued for decades, and it explains the reason why. That's what makes that movie so good, is it explains the reasons why these things work the way they do, not just demonics, but the process. It shifted a lot of viewpoint. And to me, an exorcist is a different entity as opposed to a priest. Say what you want about the Catholics, because I will too, but they can train a hell of a good exorcist. Um, and I do have respect for the men and women that do it. But it is an absolutely wonderful depiction of that. It's one that both Davis and I will always suggest to people who are interested in understanding exorcisms, exorcists, actual possession, how it actually affects people. Um, because most other movies go straight for the we're going to hire a contortionist and make her walk backward down the stairs. Um, or we're going to have the standard of this particular person is going to stand here in front of a bunch of people and wet themselves, or this person is going to vomit some strange fluid, towards the person that is trying to effectively save them.
There's standard stuff always, and that is one of the movies that he and Davis always do tell people, especially if they're struggling with their faith.
Actually, yeah, it's a good representation of what happens, uh, and that is one that I will always actually stand behind as far as that is concerned. Plus, it's Anthony Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's granddad.
So, next ones that I'm going to toss out are the Insidious movies. Specifically, the first, second, and third.
Because aren't there like 5 or 6?
There's like 5 or 7. I don't know anymore. They continued them on, and I don't hate the fact that they did. But for tonight's topics, literally what I'm going to bring up is the first 3. Specifically the first 2, because there's multiple things in those that actually help kind of give different insights into some different paranormal items. One of which is other dimensions again, but specifically something that, the main psychic, which is also a really good depiction on how she can, do the automatic writing, different clairs popping. I think that actually depicts several things very well. Obviously, there's a couple of things that are a bit, exacerbated because Hollywood, but it actually shows a really good representation of sometimes just how thin that line is. Not only for a psychic or a medium, but also between the other side and being that type of beacon. So if you don't know some of your gifts, literally the child in this movie is essentially a giant beacon when he dreams and leaves his body. Different in this case than lucid dreaming.
It's literal astral projection.
It's astral projection for this.
And they literally go over it in the movie and then again in the second one.
Yeah. And something else, just a PSA, if you do that shit, make sure you communicate with other people that you're doing it. That way somebody is able to pull you back if they need to. Fucking tether, for the love of God. Anyway. But the first movie.
Yeah, just make sure you let people know, because I have a bad habit of doing that, not realizing I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I realize I might do it, I put word out. If you all see me wondering about, send my ass home.
Mm-hmm.
Get me home.
Because you can, especially if you
it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your Tyree is?
What's bad is it's 9:51. But the Insidious movies, do have a lot of jump scares. I will say that.
I just looked it up. They only list 5 online.
Oh, okay. So
there's 1, 2, 3, and then there's something about a key.
And then the red door.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last key and the red door.
Yeah.
Red Door was the most recent, I think.
Yep, 2023.
One of the things that I find, but like I said, first couple especially, because it depicts the different things that happen. She's a full-blown medium and a full-blown psychic, and is very, very clear and understanding about that. And that's one of the really awesome things is that, you know, she's not afraid in that movie to be herself, which I think is kick ass. Because a lot of the times the psychics get, you know, depicted like Professor Trelawney and Harry Potter. And this one is not that way.
Or Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost.
Or Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost. So I really like the Insidious movies because they do show just how thin that line can be. But the second one also goes into the fact that sometimes you don't understand that you've already seen things the way that you have seen them. It goes over precognition very well. Because, not to spoil it, but the movie's like 15 years old. Whatever.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Fine, I'll look at it. I've just looked it up. I'll see if I can find it to watch.
In the second movie, you realize that this, and they even say it in the first movie, this is not the first time that this particular psychic has met. In the first movie, the husband. And in the second movie, it's the kid version of him. So it literally tells you why it is that she's come back around to talk to him and why the mother never lost her number. But you see in the second movie, the precognition from the boy literally going, oh, this is going to happen. Cool. And then it playing out in real time, which is fucking awesome. So those are some other really good ones that I would recommend at least. Just be aware that you're going to need to very carefully monitor your sound bar. The music gets fucking loud.
Well, dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Yeah.
And Tiptoe Through the Tulips still creeps me out.
Especially the original version with Tiny Tim singing it.
Yep.
Which is that one.
But even that portion of the movie is a really good representation of her clairs popping off and literally what can happen sometimes when you have spirits around, especially if they don't actually mean any harm. Kid was literally just playing a fucking jam, but was creepy as shit doing it. And if you don't expect it and you don't know what's going on, it's going to terrify you. So.
I mean, if we're wanting to go back to the way back machine.
The way back machine?
Well, I mean, for half of our viewers, not currently because most of y'all are our age, but, you know, going to the way back machine for especially more than likely YouTube watchers that we watched, the movie The Others is
love that movie.
It is a very interesting movie. It is older than half the movies that we've talked about, so I'm not going to be cautious about fucking spoilers. So
I was going to say no spoilers because that had a bigger twist to the Sixth Sense.
It did, but it's like actually 30 years old. It's a 30-year-old movie.
You wouldn't know that if you were 21.
But The Others is.
I have precognition.
Fuck.
I remember I'm a medium. I can see the past.
That's not that gift.
So when Tyree was y'all's age, he was 21.
Shit.
Walked uphill both ways to school.
Now see your
in
joke
the in the freezing snow,
you're snoking. You're about this.
had to milk the cow halfway, and Lord forbid it froze when he got there.
You're joking about that? I actually had to walk to school in the snow. And it was uphill to get to the school, and it was uphill to get home.
See? I wasn't lying.
The only thing I didn't do it barefooted.
Oh, that's true.
Well, I never said you did it barefoot. I just said you did.
And between home and school, I probably milked a couple of things.
Yeah, see, so I was close. That's what a real psychic does.
We have
Anyway,
Tinder.
let me tell you a life story, Tari. Uh,
I
but
did go to a school that was uphill both ways.
that's hilarious for
You-
both of you. Actually, you've seen where I've gone to school. It
Yeah.
also was uphill both ways. Hilariously enough. But so the others, getting back on this fucking train. The others is an interesting depiction of the other side of parapsychology. You know, a lot of times the focus is on the psychic or the investigator trying to understand, at least emotionally comprehend what's going on, hence parapsychology. The others focuses on the other side of it,
Hmm.
which makes it very interesting because it is coming from the point of the actual specters, from the ghosts, and then not realizing that they are dead. It's an interesting situation. Um, it's a fun one. Is it the best movie ever? No, it's not. It was a 90s movie. Of course it wasn't. Uh, but, was it a good depiction? Yes. And like Tyree said, it even spoiled. It is one of the better um, twists. Even going back and watching it now, it's still an interesting viewpoint, especially, you know, doing what I've done this long, and I can still go back and watch a movie and go, yeah, because I've actually witnessed that. When you're actually talking to people that don't realize that they're dead and they have that realization that they finally come to terms with the fact that they died by this, this, or this, and have no idea what to do with it, where to go, how to function.
That's still a conversation that we have on a regular basis. There was a couple markets back where we had that conversation with someone. It's still a very real thing.
Well, the biggest thing that I got out of the whole movie is that it totally explains why shit happens when you go into a house and then start working on it.
Meh.
Because if the spirit don't know they're dead, they think the house is supposed to be the way it is when they're there. You start messing with stuff, they're going to mess with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because interestingly enough, the whole thriller part of the movie actually starts when renovations start.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, when the house starts getting torn down or things getting placed that weren't there. It's really an interesting take on a haunting and what it is that the other side actually experiences when they're going through things. It's a pretty cool kind of movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that is actually probably plenty of suggestions for you guys tonight. It's quite a few different arrays actually. Whole different slew of shit.
I mean,
Actually, there is one movie, and I got to figure out how I can watch it again.
mhm.
And it is the one that totally fucked me up. And that is the 1950s, late 50s, early 60s, The House on Haunted Hill, the original.
Oh, the original.
That one is what totally fucked me up.
I mean, the original was kind of fucked up. I mean, it was all practical effect. So looking back on it, there's scenes and situations where you're like, that's hilarious. But that particular movie, wound up being gore porn later. But the original one was actually meant to be frightening, meant to be scary. And it was, for all intents and purposes, especially at that time. Tyree's 21.
No,
But,
no,
especially.
actually, I turn 21 tomorrow, so I expect everybody to buy me a drink. I'll be sitting up at the market tomorrow night.
Shit.
You better have your ID ready,
Mhm.
son. But yeah, it was supposed to be, it was supposed to be frightening. And it was, because that opened up a different side of horror movies, ghost stories, things like that. It opened up a different avenue for people that didn't grow up reading Poe or listening to Price. So it's a interesting go. I'm trying to remember. There was one other. If I can remember it, I'll actually fucking do a live, like a 30-second live, just to fucking tell you guys what it is.
Shout out as a side to The Heretic, as far as a movie.
It was an interesting movie, to say the least. It's a good movie for a couple of different principles.
It is a key example of why it is that why people fear the paranormal when really sometimes it's the people that are the issue. Heretic is a very good representation of that, and if you haven't seen it, it's a very it is a hard watch in certain portions and a hilarious watch in others.
Oh yeah.
But
The name notwithstanding, if you do have religious trauma, do not watch this movie.
probably not a solid choice.
It is not a good idea for you. If you are someone that is okay and is working through it, this is a good movie to watch. It has a couple of very incredibly good points
Yeah.
that can't really be argued, which is what makes it really rough. And not to mention, this was probably one of the roles that Hugh Grant will remember for the rest of his fucking life. He did a very good eccentric.
Oh, superb. Like, phenomenal. And the one thing I will say is that this is a very good representation of debunking paranormal. Because the main character the entire time does.
Yep.
So that's definitely, if you have religious trauma, it's a rough go. But if you are processing it, like Steve said, might be worth a watch. Because at the end of the day, depending on how you choose to look at it, that girl never lost her faith.
Nope.
Ever.
Never did. And left with a very interesting feather in her cap. So something to look at and watch if you didn't get the opportunity. Trying to think.
As far as a couple of other pop cultures, because we haven't covered much other than movies, because those are the most accessible. Songs, the ones that come to mind specifically are pretty much anything written by Tom DeLonge for Aliens.
That's a stretch.
I understand. I find it hilarious.
That's a stretch.
But as far as TV shows, this is kind of.
I was gonna say let's do TV shows next week when we're talking about the bad stuff.
That's kind of
because there was only one good show that I really loved, and I still watch it today, even though it's no longer. And that's Dead Files.
Oh, I was thinking you were gonna go with Scooby Doo.
Oh no.
They also debunk the whole time.
They actually do.
They do.
Hilariously enough.
But Scooby Doo reminds me of
Spirit Mechanics.
no.
No, it does me.
Same. That's why I brought it up.
Scooby Doo reminds me of the Puff Puff stuff.
Getting high.
Uh-huh. You know, Sherry's always eating.
So is Scooby.
Scooby's just an imagination of Shay.
But everybody else talks to him.
Still only a piece of Shay.
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill.
Because I'm trying to stretch into video games for a second.
It's actually a very good branch. Go ahead, Tari.
I was gonna say I've not seen the game, I've not played the game, but the movie sucked.
The games are a lot different. The games are a lot different. Games are not great, at least as far as the ability to deal. Games are a lot rougher because Hollywood can't depict certain things. They're not allowed. Otherwise, they would get flagged and the movie would be banned heavily. The other reason why is, well, if you guys haven't played video games since the 90s or 2000s, this is probably going to be spoilers. However, you can look up entire playthroughs of the original games.
Mhm.
But the second game in particular is literally touted as the best one in the entire series.
Yep.
Do I agree with that? But I see why.
Y'all talking about my pyramid daddy.
Pyra-
Tiff.
Pyradaddy?
Paradaddy.
Pyradaddy.
Paradaddy. Again.
Mid Daddy.
The game.
That's what he's got.
Game?
Yeah. Because in the movie, she wasn't naked, and then she wasn't naked enough. For anybody that has seen the movie, that's going to be a hilarious joke for you. Anybody that hasn't, draw inference. But no, the games themselves are really savage because Silent Hill draws people in and forces them to accept themselves. That's the whole point of it. And the horror depictions of the different creatures and the different boss figures like Pyramid Head are different aspects of that person's psyche that are actually being projected out as tulpas that attack him.
It's fucking wild.
It's insane. The entire game is him coming to terms with the fact that he killed his wife. He killed his wife. She was sick and dying of cancer, and she said she wanted to go because she was a burden to him, and he agreed with her and killed her. And the entire game of Silent Hill 2 is him literally coming to terms with the fact that he actually enjoyed it.
Shit.
And he didn't feel guilty for the fact that he actually killed her. And then did feel guilty for the fact that he did. And him going through this sine wave created all of these monsters. The nurses with the extreme movements and, the over exaggerated curves. All jokes aside, because there's several 12-year-old men in the audience tonight. But they were depictions of his violence against his need for sex. Pyramid Head was violence against himself. Pyramid Head was his guilt. I deserve to die because I killed her. So I'm going to create this huge knife-wielding entity that is unstoppable because my grief is unstoppable. It's a really raw-ass game. You know,
The movies don't do that.
the movies don't do that. They don't go into any of that shit. It's literally gore porn, you know, because Hollywood. But that's what you get. It's Japanese horror at its best, y'all. You know, it's the whole point. Humans are the worst monsters out there, and the Japanese are here to show us that. Um, because literally, uh, you know, Silent Hill is one of those kinds of games, especially when you're starting to get into the idea of tulpas and thought forms, and how pareidolia and how extreme pressure can force you into savage hallucinations and haunting yourself, and then actually creating things that you can't destroy on your own. It's a perfect example, and the world distorts because that person's psyche is breaking. It's wild. It's actually really fucking cool as far as a concept. It's really neat.
Probably because it hits very close to home for a lot of the things that we will see with tulpas and thought forms. And you can find that stuff. Usually the video games are a lot darker anyway.
I mean, yeah, you can get away with a hell of a lot more in a video game. All you got to do is slap a proper rating on it, and you're good.
Yeah.
There's a whole list of committees that have to approve your movie or your TV show. So,
Shout out, special shout out to Diablo, the video games,
Diablo.
for a lot of reasons. One, because they're good, and two, because depending on which one you're actually working through or watching, because you can see lots of playthroughs with tons of lore dump. I think it's the second where he's in the mental institution.
Yeah.
The first portion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second one.
It literally depicts a prophet who speaks with angels, stuck in a mental institution and dying. It's kind of cool. Not, that theory, but watching it play out, because it's a very real possibility. Not everybody can just be like, oh yeah, I talk to, angels all the time. I see that I knew this was going to happen.
Cool. What's that number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did do a fantastic tarot deck as well, the video game.
Oh my goodness.
It's beautiful.
It is still probably one of my favorites as far as depictions.
As I'm sitting here looking at it,
They did such an amazing job. It's such a beautiful deck. It is 100% one of my favorites. But
It's a good video game depiction for quite a few of the different clairs as well.
it is,
And possession.
actually, it's a war between angels and demons.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't it be fun?
It's cool. I think that's kind of covering all of our bases, at least for now, for the good side of things, because they don't make a lot of paranormal music, except for creepy shit, like creepy noises.
oh.
Although there is getting to be quite a few different pagan bands, but that's a totally separate topic.
Yeah, that's
That
a
is
little
totally
bit different.
separate topic.
There's
I mean, you can always just set a fucking audio read of the Necronomicon, or
true. Necronomicon's a good one. Trying to think of anything else, but I think that kind of covers us, because that goes into books.
I mean,
I take that back. If you listen to Gojira, he literally made a whole ass album about astral projection.
actually, yeah, that's what the whole album Flying Whales is about. Is him astral projecting, looking for answers. That's literally the whole ass album. You gotta like the heavies.
Yeah, I just had to dig for something in that genre.
You gotta like the heavies to get into Gojira, but they are actually a really spectacular band in that sense. Yeah, lead singer and a couple other people were like, yeah, we're just gonna go astral project and look for the flying whales.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
So there's definitely certain things that ring true. Bardcore.
I wouldn't necessarily call that paranormal, but bardcore is just fun.
Bardcore's just fun.
But yeah, you know, putting a bow on it,
Hmm.
there's a lot that mainstream media has done for awareness in paranormal, whether that is the metaphysics of it or if it is the study of it. It doesn't matter. You know, people are now very well aware of what it is that they can encounter, be a part of, um, things that they can experience in their own homes.
Hmm.
And the craze started just from a couple movies, a video game or two, you know, a good book here and there, a couple TV shows. You know, it's really interesting the way that things progress. So, that being said, we're going to go over the,
Grim.
yeah, it, we're still throwing TV shows out.
Some of them are still trickling in, but yeah, Grimm's another good one.
Graham is a good one. Um, I I loathe to say this. I honestly do. I really do. But it was some people's first foray into it. But Supernatural,
Yeah.
you know, does it work that way? Fuck no, it doesn't.
Are some of those entities very real?
Yes, they are. Um, so I think that one's an interesting go.
It does loop into what you were saying though about it started getting people to understand that these things are actually out there,
It's true.
that things can actually affect you, and sometimes that your own paranoia is your own worst enemy.
Actually,
So hopefully tonight has been informative. At the very least, gave you some shit to look into that's cool.
or at least it was just fun. We were talking about movies and shit tonight instead of whatever else we usually talk about.
Lots of various things. We talk about a lot of shit.
We kind of
God love y'all for staying around with us and actually fucking listening to us talk.
Look, it is a whole thing. It is
True.
it is a whole thing. Um, but all that being said, we are going to hopefully see some of you this weekend at the Central Kentucky Mystical Market. It's 1165 Center Parkway here in Lexington, Kentucky. It's 11 to 5 both Saturday and Sunday. We'll be there the entire time. It is open. So will Tyree and a host of other people. Come see Deb do her deal. She's going to be teaching a stone and crystal class.
Yep.
So come out, check that out. There's a bunch of other things to see and do, a bunch of other people to see and meet. But we will be back with you guys next week. And until then, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Remember that those that have the power to change themselves have the power to change the world around themselves. Love y'all.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.